Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a Jacksonville Jaguars draft review. We're getting one out for every team as the offseason goes on. So if your team is alphabetically before the Jaguars, any team to the left here, it is already out. Any of these teams, as well as, the Colts and the Texans and the Packers. And the Jaguars are a very interesting one. Jaguars fans, let me know what you think down below before we get into it. I would love to hear how you guys went with the draft, especially with the controversial pick by some with Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson at 1. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that. Would appreciate it a ton. And without any further ado, let's get into it. So, there's their needs right there according to ESPN. Defensive end, edge, receiver, center, corner, and inside linebacker. And let's talk about, how they did. They didn't get a single receiver, and I didn't think they were going to draft one. They got Christian Kirkin, who, they paid him a lot of money, so they're going to put their trust in him, whether you think whether you or I think he's good or not. They let Shark go, I think, or maybe they brought him back, but they still have, I've heard it referred to as the mid-core. So, we'll see how they do, but I don't think they needed to draft one, at least not early. But with the first pick, they took Trayvon Walker out of Georgia, a plug-and-play run defender who is just a ridiculous athlete, and he has a ton of upside too. So I think people, were too quick. He's not raw. He is a great run defender, and I think he's going to be a really good player in Jacksonville. Again, with Josh Allen, I think he'll be good. He's not going to just play edge either. He's going to play inside and outside. I think he's about 270, but he can add weight to play 3 tech. He can drop down to play a true edge, as he's done, I think, over the course of his career, and he's just a great athlete, and I think going to be a good player. Aiden Hutchinson may be a little bit safer in terms of just a true, pass rusher, but I love Trayvon Walker, and I think this was still a very good pick. Then with their second pick, they traded back into the first to get Devin Lloyd, the linebacker out of Utah. This was pretty much the consensus linebacker ones. There was a lot of Nakobe Dean fans. I was a big Leo Chenal fan. I don't think he was my one, but, obviously there was a lot of good linebackers in this class. It was very deep, and they got their guy at the end of the first round. People saying linebacker is, an undervalued position, kind of like safety and like running back. I think it's more valuable. I think safety is a really valuable position, to be honest, especially strong safety who's going to play in the box. But regardless, I think Devin Lloyd's a very good player. He's just good at everything. Maybe just all right, all right to good at everything. He has no really glaring weaknesses, and I think he's going to be just a solid linebacker, especially with Aluakon. I've heard it both ways. Not sure. Let me know down below if you do know. And I think he's going to be a really good player, and I think this was good value and worth a trade up, because they just need some more stars. Then at the top of the third round, they got Luke Fortner out of Kentucky. Good center, very solid, super smart dude from what I've heard. Got his master's or doctorate in engineering, in his just 5 years there. Really impressive guy. Good center. Not the craziest athlete of all time, but just very solid and should be a solid player for them. They don't need him to be a Pro Bowl center. They don't need him to be Ryan Jensen or Creed Humphrey. They just need a good, consistent, solid center. Then with their next pick, 5 picks later, they got Chad Muma out of Wyoming. Another great linebacker prospect who has a lot of speed. He can play the run really well, and he just needs to develop and get to, a higher level of competition, because Wyoming, obviously a bit of a question. But I think he's a really good player, and to pair with Devin Lloyd and Aluakon, who we talked about a moment ago, and Trayvon Walker, this is going to be a new look defense that hopefully is going to have a lot of athletes and be a lot of fun to watch. So I think he's just super nice. He's also great in coverage, and I think this was a very good pick. I don't remember if they traded up for him, because they said the pick's from Carolina, but this might be from the AJ Boye trade, maybe. That could be completely wrong, but either way. Then in the 5th round, they got Snoop Conner out of Ole Miss. I like him a lot. I saw him a lot as a guy who watched Ole Miss against Arkansas twice a year, and obviously in a couple other games. I thought he's pretty good. I always thought he was the better guy in their backfield. I think the Chiefs picked up Ely, who was the other guy in the UDFA cycle, and very solid player, not a crazy workhorse or crazy athlete who's going to get a ton of explosive touches, but as their 3 behind guys like Etienne and James Robinson, who might be the best duo in the league, or at least top 5, I would say pretty easily. I think he'll be a good guy who can come in, take some touches off them, and be solid as a 5th round pick. Then they got Gregory Jr. out of Ouachita Baptist. This is actually a guy from Arkansas, or he went to school in Arkansas, very close, and a school that I didn't know was producing NFL talent. So great for him to be a really small school guy that is, going in the 6th round. So great for him. I don't know much about him, but he's apparently super fast and could be a lot of fun. So again, great for him as a really small school guy getting in there, getting drafted here in the 6th round. Then with their last pick, they got a guy I love, and that's Monteric Brown out of Arkansas. He's a lot of fun. He's very physical, and he can press, and he can do a lot of things. He's very competitive, and he got beat up on by some great SEC receivers over the years, so he can match up with guys. He's not scared of a lot of these big-time guys because he played Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs and Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney and all these kind of guys who he lined up against that I think he's, those are some NFL stars that I mean, or at least some former that, have a lot of talent, and I like him a lot. So that's going to wrap it up for the video. I think they had a really good draft. Just, straight up. I think they really nailed it. They got, positions that they like. They obviously have Trevor Lawrence from last year. The receiving core is all right. We'll see how they pan out. Running back room is great. Definitely, at least with their top 2 guys before injury. Offensive line does need work. They only drafted 1 offensive lineman, and that was Luke Fortner. But hopefully, they're bringing bodies into their cornerback room. They got 2 guys who can be starting linebackers, maybe even, better than that. But I'd say at least starting linebackers, even for like Chad Muma, who is a 3rd round pick. And then they got, obviously, a possibly generational edge talent. Obviously, Trayvon Walker is he's a hard player to judge, but a guy who can step in from day one and contribute on that defense. And I think that's, that's what you want in your, 1st overall pick. You just want a guy that can play. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Jaguars fans, again, let me know what you think. And I'm very happy with this draft. And also, fans of other teams, videos coming soon. And also, if you are interested, I have film rooms coming out on a lot of players who I'm big fans of. So make sure to stay tuned for those. Also, any that are previously out, my Christian Watson video I think was really good, and it got a lot of traction. So I would appreciate it if you watched that too. Excuse me. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.